Hey YouTube, what's going on? I recently purchased this Suzuki C90T Boulevard 1500cc. I think it's the XL 1500, and I bought it with 33,000 kilometers on the odometer, and I'm just about to give it its 36,000 kilometer service. It's a pretty simple service. I've got the handbook for it, and like I like to do on bikes I own, I always check YouTube for any tutorials, learn from others' mistakes and successes. And one thing I've come to learn is that there's not a lot of information on the C90 or the C90T on YouTube, particularly when it comes to servicing. This is a 2013 model, and those of you that know the model will know that it was a re-release, and I think it was first released in 2013, and it's continued now to be a model that Suzuki's carried. It's the Boss version. The Boss is an acronym, blacked out Suzuki Special, if I'm not mistaken. So today what we're going to do, really simple service. We're just going to change the oil. The oil filter doesn't need to be changed according to the manufacturer's recommendation, but I will make a few other videos of me going through the bike and servicing everything that I can do. And for today's service, we're just going to use some really simple tools, such as a socket set. I've got my oil that I'm going to put in it today, and I'm going to run the Penrite MC4ST motorcycle 4-stroke, a 10W40 semi-synthetic. It's got the JSOMA classification, and this oil is supposed to be very good for bikes. So I'm going to run that, changing the oil without the oil filter. The handbook recommends or suggests 3 litres as being its capacity. With the filter, I think it bumps up to 3.2 metric litres. So the first thing that we're going to do is just loosen off the dipstick. It's just located here. So a couple of turns, and what that does is breaks the vacuum seal so that oil can flow out of the bike. Changing the oil on this Boulevard really couldn't be simpler, because there's lots of room, lots of access for it, and it's just a case of undoing one nut, which is located obviously underneath the bike. Here's the sump, and that's the nut we're going to undo. As I said, this is my first time I'm servicing the bike, and just checking before, I know that that takes a 17mm socket or a ring spanner. So we're going to crack that, let the oil drain out, and then we can replace it with some fresh oil and ride it for another 6,000 kilometers, and then we'll do the oil filter at that service. A couple of things that I will be doing is air filters. Suzuki has 2. And they're located behind this cover here on the right hand side. And there's also an identical one on the left hand side, just in here. So we'll do those when the manufacturer recommends spark plugs. There are 4 plugs that require changing to service this V-twin, 2 plugs per cylinder. So we'll do spark plugs. Final drive, which is located under the rear here. We've got our drain nut here, and also our fill at the rear, and that's quite simple to do. Okay, I've just taken the bike for a ride just to warm it up, warm up that oil to make it a bit more viscous so that it will flow. Dirty oil will flow out and I'll get more of it out. And I probably rode it for about 20 minutes. So I'm confident that it is at a suitable temperature. One of the things I like to do when I'm servicing a bike or a car is find out just what's going on inside since the last oil change. And a good way to do that is just by having a look at the oil that's currently in there before I change it. And so if I just open up this dipstick and pull it out, I don't know if you can pick that up real well, but I can get a bit of a look at the colour of the oil. That's not too bad. And to check the oil level to see if I've been using any oil or if it's been burning any, don't screw it back in. Just hold it there for 10 or so seconds and then pull it out again and just have a look at that level, and that looks to be right on the full level, so it's a good sign. I suppose that's what you'd expect from a bike that's only done 36,000 kilometers. So I'll put that in. I won't tighten it up because we don't want to create a vacuum. I'll get my 17mm socket and I think we'll get our Penrite oil just ready. And someone told me a long time ago, if you service something, just pop a pair of disposable gloves on and it makes clean up a whole lot easier. So I'll get the 17mm socket and we'll crack that sump nut underneath the bottom. Okay, I've got my 17mm socket and I've got my drain pan, and I'm just going to place that near my drain bolt. And I'm going to get my socket onto my drain bolt, make sure that I've got the ratchet going the right way. What I like to do is get it on firm and then just give it a little tap. And that's now off loose, I can do it by hand. And of course I want to get my drain pan underneath there. I don't know if you can still see that. There it is. And I'm just going to twist it off. And let that drop into the pan along with the oil. I like to get a good look at the colour of the oil as well as how much oil comes out. The reason I let it drop in the pan is I get my magnetic pickup tool and I just fish it out, clean it up, and it just makes it a little easier. Okay, just going to let the rest of this oil drain out. Okay, the oil's finished draining, and so we'll just put that sump nut back. We'll do it up hand tight, and I know that the manual specifies 23 newton meters of torque. To torque that up, here's our oil from our drain pan. It looks black because the container's black, but if I put my finger in it and have a look at it, I can see that it's kind of a dark yellow, perhaps a light brown colour, which is perfect. It's about what it should look like for used oil. Now again, I know from the manual that this requires 3 litres, so I'm going to put my funnel in there. Here's my Penrite. This is a 4 litre container with a little measure on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and put in probably just under 3 litres, and then I'm going to measure it. I'll start the bike, let it run for a minute, measure it, and then just top it up as it needs it. So we'll start by putting in okay, I've put in just under 3 litres, probably 2.9 litres in there. I'm going to take the funnel out, just rest it on my piece of wood, make sure it's nice and clean around the fill point. Put the dipstick in. I'm going to do it up because I'm going to start the bike, let it run for a couple of minutes, and check the level. There we go, we just started her up. Oil light is not on. Just give it some acceleration. Sure that oil's getting pushed around. and we'll just let that sit for, I'd say, probably 2 minutes, and then I'll check the dipstick level. Alright, I've got it on this block of timber here for the kickstand. That's just to try and level up the bike just with the slightest of lean, so that it's not in a precarious position and might topple over, so that when I check the dipstick I can get a reasonably accurate reading. So I'll give that a couple minutes and then I'll check it. Okay, so I checked the dipstick, and it was just under full, so I popped that extra 150 mil in to make it 3 litres exactly, and it's reading right on the full level. Really is that simple. One bolt, undo, do up, fill it up, and not only do you save yourself a little bit of money doing it yourself, but it's good peace of mind. You know the history, you know what's gone in the bike. No one looks after a bike as well as you do, if in fact you enjoy maintaining your bike. So that's it for the oil change on the Suzuki C90. This is the T, the Tourer with the windshield and the bags. I hope to upload other videos as I service everything from brakes, brake pads, air filters, plugs, coolant, final drive, and things that I'm capable of doing. Okay.